Sometimes you just have to sit back on your porch, look out at the world, and say, I told you so. It isn't about being smug, and it certainly isn't about being mean. But when you have been gaslit for years, when you have been told that you are crazy, that you are a conspiracy theorist, or that you are just a hater for pointing out basic biological facts, there is a certain sweetness when the truth finally comes knocking. And my friends, the truth isn't just knocking anymore. It is banging on the door with a sledgehammer. And the person holding that sledgehammer right now is none other than Candace Owens. We have to talk about this because the house of cards that Harry and Meghan built, that fortress of solitude constructed out of lies, half-truths, and bad acting, is collapsing right in front of our eyes. We are talking about the birth of Archie. We are talking about the medical impossibilities. We are talking about the fairy tale that was actually a farce. Now, I know you guys are excited for more, but before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, let's be honest with each other, neighbor to neighbor. Meghan Markle is a trained actress. Now, I didn't say she was a good actress. Her Suits highlight reel proves that she has about as much range as a teaspoon, but she is trained. She knows how to hit a mark, she knows how to find the light, and she knows how to fake an emotion. For her entire life, she has been studying people, mimicking behaviors, and wearing masks. And when it came to her time in the royal family, she didn't view it as a service. She viewed it as the role of a lifetime. The problem is, when you treat real life like a script, you forget that real life has laws. It has medical laws, it has logistical laws, and it has the law of time. And Harry, bless his heart, is not a scriptwriter. He is a puppet who couldn't keep his story straight if his allowance depended on it. Candace Owens has pointed out what we have all been whispering over the garden fence for years. The math doesn't math. The medical details in Spare, Harry's own book, are not just embellishments. They are biological impossibilities. Let's start with the epidural claim. In his book, Harry writes with this breezy rom-com confidence that Meghan had 2 epidurals. Now, for any woman watching this who has given birth, for any medical professional, for anyone with a basic understanding of human anatomy, your jaw probably hit the floor when you read that. You don't just top up an epidural with a second one like you are ordering another round of drinks at the pub. An epidural is a catheter in your spine. It is a serious medical procedure. If it fails, or if it needs adjustment, they use the same line. To say she had 2 implies a level of medical complication or failure that would have had doctors swarming the room. It would have been an emergency. Yet Harry presents it like she just popped a couple of aspirin. It is a detail that sounds dramatic to a man who has no idea what is happening, but it rings false to anyone who has actually lived through it. And then we have the nitrous oxide story. Oh, this one really gets me. Harry claims he was so nervous that he sucked down all of Meghan's laughing gas while she bounced on a ball. It's written to be charming, right? It's supposed to be this Hugh Grant bumbling husband moment. Oh, silly Harry, stealing the pain meds. But in reality, that is strictly controlled hospital equipment. At the Portland Hospital or any reputable hospital, the nitrous oxide is monitored. Nurses don't just leave the tank open for the husband to get high while the wife is in labor. It is offensive to the medical staff to suggest they were that negligent. And it is offensive to mothers to suggest that a laboring woman would just laugh off her partner stealing her pain relief. It's a scene from a bad sitcom, not a maternity ward. It's fiction. It's a lie designed to make them look relatable, but all it does is prove that the person writing the story wasn't paying attention to reality. But the biggest smoking gun, the absolute nail in the coffin of this narrative, is the timeline. Harry claims they went to the Portland hospital, gave birth, and were back at Frogmore Cottage within 2 hours of the delivery. 2 hours. Let that sink in. Meghan was a geriatric pregnancy. That is the medical term for a mother over 35. That automatically makes her high risk. There were rumors of preeclampsia. She had an epidural, or 2 if you believe the fairy tale. And yet, we are supposed to believe that she pushed out a human being, recovered, had the epidural wear off so she could walk, passed all the postpartum checks, got the baby checked, did the paperwork, packed the bag, got into the car, and drove through London traffic to Windsor all in 2 hours? It is physically impossible. It takes 2 hours just to do the discharge paperwork in a normal hospital. To suggest that a high-risk royal mother was kicked to the curb like she was in a fast food drive-thru is insulting to our intelligence. And let's not forget the Nando's chicken. Harry, in his infinite wisdom, tries to add color to the story by saying he ordered Nando's to the hospital at a specific time. Well, guess what? The internet detectives, and now Candace Owens, have checked the receipts. Nando's was closed. They don't deliver at that hour. It is a small detail, sure. You might say, oh, maybe he got the time wrong. But when you are writing a historical record, when you are writing your truth, these details matter. If you lie about the chicken, what else are you lying about? It proves that the entire sequence of events is a fabrication, a reconstructed memory based on what they wanted the public to think happened, rather than what actually happened. Compare this circus, this absolute clown show of a narrative, to the dignity of our beloved Catherine, the Princess of Wales. When Catherine gave birth to George, Charlotte, and Louis, we saw the protocol. We saw the doctor's signatures. We saw the easel at Buckingham Palace. We saw her stand on those steps looking tired but radiant, showing the world the future heir. She didn't play games. She didn't hide. She understood that being a royal means accepting a certain level of public interest in the line of succession. Meghan and Harry? They played hide and seek. They announced she was in labor hours after the baby was already born. They deceived the press. They deceived the public. They treated the birth of a royal child like it was a state secret, and now we know why. Because the story they were selling didn't match the reality they were living. The secrecy wasn't about privacy. It was about control. It was about hiding the inconsistencies. Why lie about the hospital entrance? Why lie about the time of birth? Why create this elaborate story about secret elevators and non-existent staff? Because when you are telling the truth, you don't need to remember the details. The truth just is. But when you are crafting a narrative, when you are trying to cover up a timeline that doesn't make sense, perhaps a surrogate timeline, perhaps a hidden birth timeline, you have to invent details to fill the gaps. And Harry is not smart enough to fill the gaps convincingly. He filled them with Nando's and laughing gas, and now the whole world is laughing at him. And I have to say, it breaks my heart for the Queen. Can you imagine the stress this put on her and Prince Philip in their final years? To have this chaos, this constant deception swirling around the family? King Charles and Queen Camilla have dealt with this with such grace, but you know it hurts them. They know the truth. The palace knows the truth. Why do you think the christening photos looked so tense? Why do you think there was no signature from the doctors on the announcement? The silence from the palace speaks volumes. They couldn't endorse a lie, so they just stepped back and let Harry and Meghan dig their own hole. And now, that hole is so deep they can't see the sunlight. The travel aspect is another huge red flag that Candace Owens rightly points out. We are supposed to believe that days after this high-risk birth, Meghan was jet-setting around. Any doctor will tell you that after a birth, especially a geriatric one, you are grounded. You are recovering. You are bleeding. You are healing. You are not hopping on international flights. The fact that she was seen looking spry, traveling, and moving with the ease of a woman who hadn't just undergone a major medical event is suspicious. It feeds right into the theory that maybe, just maybe, she didn't carry the child. Or if she did, the timeline is completely different from what they told us. And if they lied about the timeline, they lied about the line of succession. And that, my friends, is treasonous territory. We love William and Catherine because they are real. Even in their perfection, they feel grounded. When Catherine had hyperemesis gravidarum, she was honest about it. She disappeared because she was sick. She didn't invent a story about eating roast chicken while throwing up. She just dealt with it. Meghan has to turn everything into a scene from a movie. The soft lighting, the music, the romance. It's all so shallow. It's all so Hollywood. And the British monarchy is not Hollywood. It is an institution built on trust, history, and blood. You cannot fake bloodlines, and you cannot fake history, no matter how good your PR team is. The sad part is, if they had just been honest, If they had used a surrogate, or if they had complications, or if they just wanted a private birth, people might have respected it eventually. But it's the lying. It's the I'm smarter than you attitude. It's the arrogance of thinking they can rewrite medical science and geographical facts and we will just swallow it because they are the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Well, we aren't swallowing it anymore. The neighborhood is awake. We are comparing notes. We are looking at the receipts. And thanks to brave voices like Candace Owens, who are willing to say the quiet part out loud, the mainstream media is finally having to catch up. What does this mean for the future? It means their credibility is shot. If you can lie about the birth of your child in your own memoir, what else is a lie? Is the racism claim a lie? We already know the answer to that. Is the suicidal claim a lie? Is the security risk a lie? Once you pull the thread on the birth story, the whole sweater unravels. And underneath, there is nothing but a naked ambition and a desperate need for attention. Harry has been brainwashed into believing this version of events, or perhaps he is just too far gone to admit he was complicit. He looks like a lost puppy in these interviews, nodding along to Meghan's word salad, repeating lines that make no sense. It's tragic, really. He was once our favorite royal, the cheeky chappie, the war hero. Now, he's the guy lying about chicken shops to cover up his wife's deception. So I want to ask you, my wonderful neighbors, does this change how you see them? Did you already know? Were you screaming at the TV when he talked about the epidurals? I know I was. It feels like validation, doesn't it? It feels like we aren't crazy. We were just paying attention. We support the working royals because they show up, they do the job, and they tell the truth. They don't need to invent fairy tales because their real lives are dignity personified. Meghan needs the fairy tale because her reality is empty. She needs the drama because without it, she is just a Z-lister with a title she doesn't deserve. Let's keep the conversation going in the comments. I want to hear your theories. Do you think the palace will ever release the real documents? Do you think the surrogacy rumors will finally be confirmed? Or will they just continue to drift into irrelevance, clinging to these fake stories while the real royals move forward? Drop a comment. Like the video so we can beat the algorithm that tries to hide the truth. And subscribe if you want to stay on the right side of the fence. We see you, Meghan. We see the strings. And the show is about to be cancelled. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and keep supporting the royals who actually serve. I'll see you in the next one, friends. The tea is only going to get hotter from here. Ta-ta, and bye for now.